Well, it's perfect weather out there. I've made my coffee. And we're ready to roll. Oh my goodness. We'll be back to the home base today. I know a lot of people say it's so great to be home, but no, when I'm home, I'm already looking for the next adventure, wondering, when can I go again? I know a lot of people are very much homebodies, but I'm not one of them. I'm definitely not one of them. I really do much more enjoy being on the road. But it is what it is. You know, I have Hogarth's coming up, and so I got to be back to the home base for that. And so that's what I will do, because I made that commitment. So we are ready to roll. The puppies had their morning constitutional. I've reset up the toilet, etc. We're good for gas. And so we are heading out. Beautiful. The weather is perfect out there at the moment. It's 62, but the sun is out, so you feel that warmth. So quite lovely out there this morning. To go towards El Paso and Safford. So last night I watched a movie, and that was fun. I have this thing you can set your phone on, and it makes the screen large to watch a movie. So I brought that with me, and I had a good signal out here, so I watched a movie last night. And so I watched Yes Ma'am again with well, you know who I mean. I'm so bad with names. Jim Carrey, with Jim Carrey. So I watched that again last night. Fun movie. Everything in his life was no, 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 no. And then he went to this thing and started saying yes to everything. And oh my Lord, the things he went through. But yeah, it was fun. Okay, we are on the roll. Set my mirror again. Puppies are settling in. Say they go out on their walk and their morning constitutional, and they come back and they get a little treasure. They get a little goodie. And then then they settle in and we're off and running again. I put away my clothing, the stuff. I got out new things. I wanted to change my wardrobe today. Got shorts on instead, and so yeah. Like I said, the good thing about, car life, it doesn't take long to clean stuff up, to put stuff away, and yeah, it's simple. So it's easy to micromanage stuff. Oh, I've still got still got it open. So go ahead and give that a close. I always open it up first thing in the morning when I get up. I open this up, and of course, unless it's snowing or raining or something like that, but otherwise I'll open up the sunroof, get fresh air in here, and then I can stand up and change clothes easily, and that works well. So am I really looking forward to going back to home base? No, not really. I know. The puppies like it for a time. But then they're excited to go again, too. But for the first day, when we get back, they're excited. They go and they run and they chase each other through the house and out in the yard and back in again. So, yeah, they enjoy that. But they also enjoy being on the road and seeing new things, new smells, new smell-o-vision. And Mr. Mickey can go run around and put out his manly scent. He's very big on that. He's got to pee on every bush or leaf he can find. So, yeah, telling him all the big Mick is out here, so yeah. And Miss Lily, she enjoys going out for a while, but she's not, she would not be big on going on a hike or something like that, because she goes out and does her business, walks a little bit, and then she's ready to come back in. She's, so she would not be one that would be interested in a long, extended hike or anything like that. Mickey McMick, maybe he would go further. But the other day, like I said, when it was windy and it was cold, they were ready to come right back in. They were, we don't like this heavy wind. Control going all night. I usually wind up with around 36 miles per gallon. If I'm not using that, you can get about 40 miles per gallon. Okay. So the Prius Bs are very, very good on gas, on fuel and stuff. They're very reliable. You just want to use that Valvoline oil, Restore and Repair. I think it's called Valvoline. Because one thing about them, well, I know this year model, after 100,000 miles, they may start burning oil because something gets builds up, some sort of a carbon or whatever it is. But the Valvoline Restore and Repair oil fixes that, so you're not burning oil. So that's one thing with these cars, if you are looking into maybe getting a Prius B, that you want to be aware of. And you want to use top tier gas in your vehicle, and you want it to be 87 octane. And so many places are selling 86, and if they're selling 86 octane, I move up and buy the mid-grade. So I make sure I always put 87 octane in it, and I'd rather put a little higher than a little lower if they don't have 87. And again, you always want to get top tier gas. Not all gas is the same. The top tier gases have elements in it that keep your engine more clean. It burns more clean. So it's worth it. You may pay a few cents more per gallon, but it's worth it. So you don't have engine problems later. Especially if you're like me and you want to be on the road and you're doing a lot of miles, okay? Yeah, I don't know why they stopped importing the Prius Bs. But I would never have another car other than a hybrid, really, for doing car life, because of the fact of the climate control. It is just, I think it's the most valuable thing. And then also, hybrid, you're getting good gas mileage, but the problem with the electric, you have to find a place to charge it, and then charging time can take hours. You know, I don't get it. And then I guess in the cold weather, the charging and stuff, you lose how many miles you can actually travel. Now that being said, you know, I don't go any more than 300 miles at a stretch before. I've got a small gas tank in here. I think it's an 8 or 9 gallon tank, 10 maximum. So it's got a smaller tank in here, so I do have to stop and fill up. I'd say probably about the same as the Tesla, but when I fill up, it takes me a couple, couple minutes versus having to sit there for quite some time. Goes out, they're really up a creek. I forget how much it is, but they're really expensive. Whereas now you can get places to get a rebuilt hybrid battery. Okay. So again, it winds up being more cost effective than it would be with a Tesla. Although Tesla does have a climate control feature as well. To be heading home. Just not. I'd rather be on the roads more. Because I like the way sometimes the things are expressed. Okay, it always says, live your highest passion, you know, who and what you are. Well, my highest passion is, you know, being on the move. I enjoy that, and being creative. I've got to be creative in some way, shape, or form, whether I'm playing music, whether I'm singing, whether I'm painting, whether, you know, I'm figuring out a new way to read the cards. You know, my passion is being creative. I'm a creative person. If I were not being creative, it would be a very dull life for me, lifeless. It would be very robotic, just going through the motions of things. So I've got to be creative in one way or another. You know, like you see, I change things in here quite often. Okay? I've redecorated the house numerous times. Okay? So his wife. So that's interesting. That same type of a passion. You have to be doing something that's creative in nature. They love organizing, putting things together, organizing it, etc. That's some people's passion. They enjoy that. Or some people's passion is cooking. They enjoy cooking. Now I enjoy cooking to some degree, but I enjoy it, but it's not my end-all be-all thing. Setting up retreats, doing all of that. I'm more of a solo wanderer. What it is that motivates you. Okay? And put that in motion. It may not go anywhere other than for your own satisfaction, and that's fine too. for so many years, I made the deal with the universe that whatever I got, I would try to give back to people. Okay? And so that's what I do. You know, I would like to see people want to move out of the political stuff. There are so many people that just want the down and dirty, what's going on. I want to hear about the downfall of somebody, you know, and I would like to see it elevated, you know, rather than that other happening. You know, so one thing that takes place in that big spiritual journey, you cannot hate anyone. It's not there, it's not possible. That emotion is gone. It doesn't matter how heinous they are, you can't hate them. You can be really upset, unhappy with the acts they're doing, but as far as the person themselves, you know that the darkness that they're doing is not going to benefit them in the end. Okay? So you see them in a caught of a mire of their own making. And while they may appear to be ruling it over others for a time and gloating and this and that, really, in the end, they are not happy people. Okay? They're in a hole that they're driven to do what they're doing. And again, in the end, it's only going to not only cause pain to the people they are attacking, or they are also going to have to encounter that pain. So for somebody to go down that road, it comes out of lack. They want to boomerang. They've got so low self-esteem that they have to cover it over with how great they are. But it comes out of lack. So they are not happy, they're not balanced, they're not peaceful, they are in turmoil. And it's a mask. It's always a mask that they've got on. And they're in fallacy. They're running their lives around a fallacy. So again, you know, I would like to see people elevated. Getting out of that, you know, I want to see this, I want to see them suffer, I want to see them, you know, trust me, on the other side, they are going to feel all of that. And it's not about punishment, it's about learning. Because everything is eternal. Okay? It's all eternal in nature. Embracing the light, they're in an empty hole. beneficial. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I've had my own pity party parade. When I started out seeking, okay, you seek out of that storyline you got yourself caught in, and the pity party, the grand pity party, and the pain and the things that you've got yourself tied up with, mentally tied up with, which results in actions which are not beneficial, that mind spin. And it's only through looking within that you can cut those bonds, that you can get freed up. Like it says, the truth will set you free, but you've got to find out what the truth is. You've got to be willing to look at the fallacy and get to the root of it and see that fallacy. And once you absolutely see it, it cuts those bonds. And you can shift into something better, shift into a more elevated expression, etc., and get rid of the pity party and the other stuff you're dragging yourself, limiting yourself by. Okay? Because all of these things bring limitations to you, but they're due to your own misunderstanding, your own adopting things as truth that are false. If it's not freeing, then there is an illusion attached to it. Illusion. It causes these illnesses of depression and pain and sorrow and grief and all of these other things that one can get themselves embroiled in for quite some time. Because of the false narrative they're living and thinking that it is truth. So the way to break through those is to go within and look and find where it started, where did it come from, and then see that the holes of that were usually adopted because of somebody else's fallacy that's been projected onto you and which you adopted. Okay? So once you see where they came from, where they stem from, and you can see the absolute fallacy of it, that it really had nothing to do with you, then you can release that and go on to something productive, fulfilling, healthy, beneficial, light-centered, light-aware, and can move into the expression of who you are, really, at the core of it. Oh, I am on a very bad road. So on that note, I'm going to leave that here because this road is just, as you can see, my phone is just not going to stay there. So we're going to go ahead and close this down now. And, yeah, just continue forward. That's it. So on that note, we leave that here. Oh, yes, loving. No, there's no place here, Miss Lily. I know what you want. She wants to go to Dutch Brothers. She wants the goodie, but there's no goodies out here. You'll get your goodie today. We'll be back to the home base today, and we'll go through Dutch Brothers, and you can get your goodie. She gets so excited, she just bounces off the walls. brothers today and get their goodie and have their time. I don't know what it is about it, but they absolutely love it. So on that note, I'll leave that here and just keep pedaling up the road, across the road, over the road, back to the home base, and then go back into doing all the tarot reads.